back, my friends. October 19th, 2019, Saturday, 8 a.m., and we're watching the effects of Nestor on the west coast of Florida, basically everywhere from Spring Hill down to Bonita Springs. We got Cape Coral in there, and St. Petersburg with this little gully inlet in the Florida coast here. We can see the vehicles and stranded vehicles flooding on the roads everywhere. This area is very prone to flooding, especially when we get a counterclockwise spin in with these storms. Now, there's been a wide range of tornado warnings as well today. We can see this strip of lightning coming across Cape Coral all the way to Palm Bay. Pretty active on the east side of Florida, actually. We've had some water spouts out in here. We've had some confirmed tornadoes in the area of Central Florida, Lakeland, Kissimmee. Those areas right here are producing pretty high-level winds right now. We have radar scope here. We're going to check it out, and you can see St. Petersburg is kind of like on an undercut right now. Let me get rid of this thing. Get rid of that, get rid of that. There we go. So you can see St. Petersburg is kind of right on the undercut of the cold and warm air right now. Definitely something to be watching. This thing is hitting the coast as we speak and moving in a northern direction. You can see all these different storm cells right here. If I were to switch this to super res reflectivity, we'll let that load. We'll get back over to the chart here. So this is what we're looking at right now, guys. This thing is hitting just outside of Mexico Beach, right where Hurricane Michael was. A little bit of a different pattern here once this thing does escape out into the Atlantic Ocean. It is expected to reform, but we don't know about this northern hook now. That has changed gradually over the last 2 days. Let me switch the settings here, and I'll show you guys what we're looking at. Lower dynamics. There we go. And we can just see the east side of this storm is the strongest. Now it's undercutting that area near Tampa Bay. Let this load real quick. There we go. You can see that east side right there is underneath Mexico Beach now. It's coming down in that gully that we talked about that was covered in the blue. And it's kind of everything in the southeast is curling up. And now we're going to be talking about Georgia and South Carolina. And then this thing's going to make it out into the ocean with a back-end low-pressure system coming in that we talked about yesterday. Look at that wind speed, the wind spread right there, guys. That's pretty interesting. We have some of the coldest temperatures in the northeast right now, actually. Here is another percentage mark of the tornado warnings we're going to be seeing here throughout the day, at least till noon, guys. That's about 3 hours from now, 4 hours. You can see this entire area, southern Georgia, southeast areas of South Carolina, and also moving into Wilmington now, North Carolina. So this is going to be the extent of what we're looking at for most of today, even outside of noon for Florida. We can see that strip of lightning right here. That's where all the energy is right now. Let's get back to right here. You can see all these counties in yellow are completely covered in tornado warnings. Let me refresh it just to make sure. Yeah, nothing much has changed. Still tropical storm warnings all over the panhandle, even moving into parts of Alabama here, and then the farthest west end of the panhandle. So we have gale force winds all over the East Coast, and then look at all the frost and the ice warnings here, guys. We got freeze warnings, and we have frost advisories all over the Northeast. That's due to a dip in the jet stream. Now check this out. We got tropical storm and then frost advisories and then a winter storm on the back end in the Northwest. That is just crazy. We have stuff all over the place right now. And then check this out. Check out this loop. As we were watching this yesterday, we had kind of an eye forming there as this thing was approaching 60 miles an hour sustained winds. We had reports of 50, 55 mile an hour sustained winds on the coast of Florida last night going into this morning. And that's going to continue as these storms move up from the north. We got a lot of power in the South Caribbean or the mid-Caribbean, basically right where Cuba meets Cancun, Mexico, just south of where my mouse is here. But we could see that dark energy moving into that area of Florida, basically parallel with Lake Okeechobee, like we were talking about yesterday. And then we see the counterclockwise collapse right here as it moves into that pocket. So we're kind of southeast of Mexico Beach, right where, again, Hurricane Michael did its damage, where they're still doing repairs. They're still cleaning up from that. Tropical Storm Nestor bore down on the northern Gulf Coast with high winds, surging seas, and heavy rains Friday evening, threatening to hit an area of Florida Panhandle devastated 1 year ago by Hurricane Michael. So there you have it. Hurricane Michael was definitely a big part of Florida last year. But unlike Michael, a powerful storm that has left thousands of people homeless and nearly wiped out the Panhandle city of Mexico Beach off the map, Florida wasn't bracing for a catastrophe. So with Michael having come and gone, they weren't really preparing for this storm as being anything significant until it actually was about 10 miles away. Or about 10 hours away. I'm sorry about that. We have areas with 5 to 6 inches. DeBerry, Florida, 6+ inches of rain. We're going to get more as far as the totals go. I just wanted to get a quick update out to you guys about the tornado situation going on. And we're going to be watching that. And again, areas of St. Petersburg, there are closed roads and vehicles stranded due to that inlet of water right here and that perfect angle that this storm has of the counterclockwise spin, bringing all that water into that area. So we're going to get some totals there, and you can just see this mess of storm cells moving into Florida, kind of moving in a northern direction. That's why we're going to be talking about southeastern Georgia later on as these things enter out. And you can see some of these storms are getting quite strong outside the east side of Florida, and that's also where we had our lightning chart here where we were just looking at. And you can see these really tight groupings of lightning out here. So there is a potential for this thing to reform on the other side of this thing. It depends on how much land eclipse on the inside part, the southeast states. And once we get that information, we'll be relaying it to you guys for sure. So with that said, guys, short video. Just wanted to get the tornado warnings out there. If you live in any of these counties, you need to be aware of what's going on. You can get this at weather.gov. County by county chart tells you exactly what's going on in your area. So with that said, guys, I'm going to let you go. Happy early morning, and we're dealing with Nestor. Nestor. All right, guys, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.